This video is sponsored by Sakurako and Tokyo Treats. Commentary from Neville Goddard's Prayer, The Art of Believing by Lila of Nevillution. In Chapter 1, Law of Reversibility, Neville says, "If you knew how you would feel were you to realize your objective, then inversely, you would know what state you could realize were you to awaken in yourself such a feeling. The injunction to pray believing that you already possess what you pray for is based upon the knowledge of the law of inverse transformation. If your realized prayer produces in you a definite feeling of state of consciousness, then inversely, that particular state of feeling or consciousness must produce your realized prayer. Because all transformations of force are reversible, you should always assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is easily done by contemplating the joy that would be yours were your objective an accomplished fact, so that you live and move and have your being in the feeling that your wish is realized." So in other words, what Neville is teaching here is this. Normally, we go about life and we experience things, and from those experiences, we have certain feelings. But he's teaching you on a mystical, spiritual sense. You can create things by your feelings. And that's how really creation comes about. So if you want something, you go to the end. That's where it starts. If you had what you wanted, or you were what you wanted to be, how would that feel? And you wear that feeling, especially poignant times, like when you're going off to sleep. Sleep in that mood of the wish fulfilled. You can even briefly revisit it when you wake. And you can simply do this by asking yourself, how would it feel to be and or have what I want? That feeling, that's the magic. And you have to learn to stay with this. For everything you have now in your life, a lot of it you probably brought into your life, manifested it unintentionally, not realizing your feelings, thoughts, beliefs. So now you can start to undo that by replacing it with more lovely feelings and persist until it gels and you get what you want. In Chapter 3, Imagination and Faith, Neville says, "To establish rapport, you call the subject mentally. Focus your attention on him and mentally shout his name, just as you would to attract the attention of anyone. Imagine that he answered, and mentally hear his voice. Represent him to yourself inwardly in the state you want him to obtain. Then imagine that he is telling you in the tones of ordinary conversation what you want to hear. Mentally answer him. Tell him of your joy in witnessing his good fortune, having mentally heard with all the distinctiveness of reality that which you wanted to hear, and being thrilled to the news heard. Return to the objective consciousness. Your subjective conversation must awaken what it affirmed." So here Neville gives a technique of manifesting, especially for another, but you could just as easily do it for yourself in the same fashion. Just like when you daydream, and you see certain images and you lose yourself in this inner world. And sometimes we can get so immersed we lose track of the outer world, and someone has to tap our shoulder or call our name to get our attention. But now you learn to do this intentionally, whether it's talking about good news for yourself or another. Let's say it's for another. You tune into them by calling their name and talk to them, whether in imagination or out loud if you prefer. And then tune into them and hear them in imagination. Or if you want, you can even act this out as well, if you're able to really tune in and feel oneness with them. And in imagination, you hear the other person speaking, that he is or has what it is you want to help this person manifest. And you can even act it out loud and imagine you are that person, and you can say it aloud with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, what this person would say if they were or had what they wanted. And you can use the same technique to get the things you want for yourself. You can hear in the same way another person, a family member, a friend, congratulating you. So get in the habit of enjoying these mental talks. A lot of people don't realize that they're having mental conversations all the time anyways, talking with various people, especially when they get upset and going back and forth over the arguments. But you can take this to a whole nother level, becoming aware of such and changing the conversations to be more lovely. And I'm not saying this is going to be easy at first, but eventually it will become a habit, especially as you start to see the changes reflected in your life experiences. But give it a chance so you get to that point. If you find yourself struggling, also try to exercise the imaginal arts on things that feel easier, more obtainable, and keep a record, maybe a little manifesting notebook, whether it's physical or digital, and keeping note of your successes. For most people, like learning any skill or building your muscles, it can often take training and practice. And another note, when you're imagining for another, you don't have to tell the other. But when you imagine, lose yourself and go all out and feel what you're feeling with conviction. Because in imagination, everything can happen. Just like you watch a movie and you lose yourself and you believe the movie to be true, although the movie is absolutely not true at all. It's just a bunch of actors being directed and filmed by a crew. But you learn to suspend your disbelief for TV or movies, and you can learn to do the same thing for the intentional movies in your mind. Just imagine an actor or an actress. When a good one becomes one with the lines, you don't see an actor anymore. They are the lines. And with practice, that's what you will be when you have these imaginary conversations, mentally or out loud. Chapter 5, Law of Thought Transmission. Neville says, when you emerge from prayer, you no longer seek, for you have. If you have prayed correctly, subconsciously assumed the reality of the state sought, and by the law of reversibility, your subconscious must objectify that which it affirms. In a sense, what Neville is saying here, have you ever had the experience when you've tested this imaginal arts, and you felt such a wonderful feeling that you no longer felt hungry for what you desired, because you so felt the reality of what you want as though it was filled. You felt full. Sometimes all it takes is once. But if you find yourself feeling hungry again, repeat the act and continue until you stay full and/or you get what you want. Neville goes on, to change your world, you must first change your conception of it. To change a man, you must change your conception of him. You must first believe him to be the man you want him to be, and mentally talk to him as though he were. All men are sufficiently sensitive to reproduce your beliefs of them. Therefore, if your word is not reproduced visibly in him towards whom it is sent, the cause is to be found in you, not in the subject. As soon as you believe in the truth of the states affirmed, results follow. Everyone can be transformed. Every thought can be transmitted. Every thought can be visibly embodied. So what Neville is saying here is that everything on the outside is just a reflection of something within you. So don't try to change what's outside by trying to meddle with the outside. If you really want a true, lasting, and perfect change, you must go within, and you must feel what it would be like if what you wanted was already so, and be able to be faithful to this regardless what goes on in the outer world, because the outer world will still be playing the old projections, mostly that you put out there unintentionally. But until people study this enough and have enough successful experiences, they often get entangled in a dance between the 3D world and the imaginative world. So simply keep these truths near you, revisit them every now and then, and keep practicing this imaginal arts and keeping track of your successes, just as with earnestly learning any skill in life. Remember, whatever state has your attention holds your life. To become attentive to a former state is to return to that condition. So in a sense, whatever you allow yourself to feel, that's what you're inviting or perpetuating in your life, be it the things you might think and feel without revision, or let's say people on the outside may do or say certain things and it might make a feeling in you. If it's not a good feeling, revise it in imagination. It need only take a couple seconds. Or let's say what you choose to listen in gossip or the news, or what types of music or TV shows or movies you watch. Become aware of what you choose to feed your energy on. Is it something you want to grow in your life? Now I get it. A lot of us do like to watch a good horror movie every now and then, but make sure in general your way of life, you're giving yourself the quality, the things you want to grow in your life. And when things happen that don't make you feel good, make sure to take a moment to revise it and to bring back a noble, lovely feeling. It really has to be something that becomes a way of life. And as it does, it will become natural and joyful, especially as your world reflects. As Neville has said before, in a way we've come here to be image makers, to make your own personal heaven in a sense. Simply put, recognition of the state vibrates or awakens it. So whatever you notice with, you mix with, you make it alive. All states exist, but what brings them to life and the corresponding experiences you'll come across, or what you become aware of, what you feel, become immersed with, So choose well and your life will reflect it. Because if you don't, be surprised if you find yourself tossed on the up and down waves of the dream of life, 3D reality. Now Neville warns, a person who directs a malicious thought to another will be injured by its rebound if he fails to get subconscious acceptance of the other. As ye sow, so shall ye reap. Furthermore, what you can wish and believe of another can be wished and believed of you, and you have no power to reject it if the one who desires it for you accepts it as true of you. The only power to reject a subjective word is to be incapable of wishing a similar state on another. To give presupposes the ability to receive. Fools exploit the world, the wise transfigure it. It is the highest wisdom to know that in the living universe there is no destiny other than that created out of imagination of man. There is no influence outside of the mind of man. So what Neville is basically saying here is be careful what you wish upon another. Let's say in anger you wish something bad upon another. You may find what you wished at some point coming back in your life. At any point that other person might reject the gift. Maybe one day they meet a healer who tells them to call upon the white light. And maybe all negative thought forms that had been directed towards the person now return to the sender because now your unwelcome wish is being rejected. So the best thing is always do the loving thing. And what Neville is also saying is that if you could wish something not nice upon another, then another person can wish the same thing upon you and you won't be able to reject it. And this may very well explain why sometimes we have the negative things that happen to us in life. So from this point on, use the power of imagination nobly. It's natural sometimes we can feel angry in circumstances, but the best thing to do is to realize what do we want instead, and what would it feel like if we had what we wanted. And for those right now listening who may be worried of negative energy they have ever sent out, you can go into imagination. What would it be like if you could magically just call all that negative energy back and let it be transmuted into love, the right thing, so that there could be a win-win for all? What would that feel like? That feeling, you've mixed with it. It is a seed nurtured, will blossom and return many-fold to you in a wonderful way. Because also remember, if you wish something negative on another, that's a certain feeling. But as you feel that feeling, you're also making it alive in your own consciousness. So ask yourself instead, even though at times it might be challenging, when in the moment you might feel very angry, you could even just simply say, what would Neville do? What would he imagine in this situation? Or anyone that inspires you with love and or wisdom. And in chapter 6, Neville talks about the reverse, how sometimes when you want something good to happen, but you feel too close to it, you can't quite get it to happen in your life. You can work a little bit of a different way and imagine it happening for someone else who you feel is wonderful, and you'd be happy for them to also have the good news. Because as you feel this, you'll also be awakening it for yourself. And sometimes it may feel easier to manifest goodness, especially what may feel miraculous for another, but it's also a good way to indirectly come back and bless yourself. Neville says, the seemingly harmless habit of talking to yourself is the most fruitful form of prayer, for a mental argument with the subjective image of another is the surest way to pray for an argument. You are asking to be offended by the other when you objectively meet, for he is compelled to act in a manner displeasing to you, unless before the meeting you revise or modify your order by subjectively affirming a change. And finally, in chapter 7, the greatest prayer, Neville says, the perfect man judges not after appearances, but judges righteously. He sees others as he desires them to be. He hears only what he wants to hear. He sees only good in others. In him is no condemnation, for he transforms the world with his seeing and hearing. So if you want to rise in your own divine perfection, forget what you see in Caesar's world, 3D reality. Instead, learn to hear, see, feel lovely and noble things in your imagination, and learn to paint heaven on earth until it is perfectly reflected. And as Neville says, creation is finished. You call your creation into being by feeling the reality of the state you would call. A mood attracts its affinities, but it does not create what it attracts. So in a way you could look at this as everything already exists, every possibility, and what you do is bring different segments of this alive by what you choose to feel, intentionally, or what most people do, unintentionally. For from your moods, people emerge out of the mass, betraying their close affinity to your moods as they are engendered. You meet them seemingly by accident, but find they are intimates of your moods. Because your moods continually externalize themselves, you could prophesy from your moods that you, without search, would soon meet certain characters and encounter certain conditions. So all the different things you experience, your moods brought to you. So become more aware of your moods. Intentionally choose to feel certain things. Intentionally nurture feeling the mood of your wishes fulfilled. In closing, Neville says, our subconscious assumptions continually externalize themselves, that others may consciously see us as we subconsciously see ourselves, and tell us by their actions what we have subconsciously assumed of ourselves to be. Therefore, let us assume the feeling, I am Christ, until our subconscious claim becomes our subconscious assumption, that we all, with open face, beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory. Let God awake and his enemies be destroyed. There is no greater prayer for man. And this ends my commentary on Neville Goddard's prayer, The Art of Believing. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the info section beneath this video. Thank you. Tokyo Treats and Sakurako. They allow you to experience Japan from the comfort of your own home through their snack boxes. Tokyo Treats is a monthly pop Japanese snack subscription box. You'll get up to 20 of the latest, exclusive, limited edition, and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks that are only available in Japan for a limited time, like Sakura Pepsi, Japanese sake Kit Kats, ramen, and more. And Sakurako is a monthly authentic Japanese snack subscription box. Sakurako supports local Japanese snack makers, and this comes with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese teas and a special Japanese tableware. And every month, their themes change. This month's Tokyo Treat themes is Fireworks Flavor Fest. Late summer of Japan is all about foods, festivals, and fireworks. In this box, you'll find treats like salt lemon Kit Kats and Osampo cotton candy. And this month's Sakurako theme is Festivals of Okinawa. Okinawa is Japan's tropical paradise, their version of Hawaii. And you'll find such treats as the pineapple mochi manju.
Toshi, we got the new Sakurako and Tokyo Treats box. Let's check out this Tokyo Treats one first. What's this month's theme? What do you think it is, Toshi? Fireworks! Hanabi! Looks good, Toshi. Oh, what a unique flavor. Salt, lemon. Oh my goodness, Toshi. Look at this beautiful snack. Pop bubble. I'm so curious about these. Toshi's. Yeah, I'm gonna take one. Toshi is gonna take a break from his paper and let me try one of these beautiful. Is it candy? Give me one, Toshi. You can try one. Beautiful candy. It's hard candy with a fruity flavor. It's very beautiful. I'm gonna try this mystery Fanta, and pretty interesting. There's 0 sugar. I wonder what they're using instead. Ooh. It smells like a grape. Oh, I can't place that. That is very strange. Very strange. Toshi, what flavor is this, do you think? It's almost like a purple bubblegum, yum bubblegum soda. This month's Sakurako. Oh, Festivals of Okinawa. We revisit Okinawa. Once again, Japanese smell. Oh, these are so pretty. Looks almost like a gingerbread cookie, but it's not. I don't think it's gingerbread with little crab icing. Oh my god. This month's special kitchen utility item is this little fan, I think. How pretty. This month's tea. Action. All right, we're gonna try these out. It's like a very super duper crunchy butter cookie, but different. I'm also gonna try this strange shaped Okinawan donut. It's like the old-fashioned donut. I used to sell when I worked at Dunkin' Donuts.
I would say my favorite Tokyo treat was this asari miso ramen, because Japan is so notorious for ramen, and this was quite lovely. And my favorite sakurako was probably these pineapple mochi manju. It was just utterly delicious. If you'd like to give either one of these snack box subscriptions a try, you can use my link, Nevillution, for $5 off your first order. You can check the links in the info section beneath this video. Thank you.